The lights have to shine bright for this one. It's match point right now, and Aurora needs to get back into the series. Is this the draft to do it as we jump into Game 3 in this best-of-5 elimination match?
Whoa.
We'll see. Oh, quick look at the emblems here.
Yeah, they actually go Baksha jungle. They put the Edward Lucas in the EXP lane.
Isn't that kind of like not such a good thing?
Well, I think it's because once they saw the Lancelot on the other side, that's when they decided to pull the trigger on the switch. Wait.
Whoa.
Flickers out for Team Falcons. As Few is the first blood drawn there by the U, and the Kimmy mid so far looking good for Aurora.
Well, damn good aggressive start. Fantastic first rotation by Aurora, reading Falcons' tendencies of wanting to go to the river after clearing the mid, and they go ahead and chase down Few. This is a great start for the Lights.
Interesting, too, that they're applying this much pressure this early on with the stakes. That could be a really good thing here. Kyle TZ playing the Lancelot's going to rely on this. He's not level 4 just yet. Should get it really shortly, too. But also, we got to talk about Domenkite. Debuting the Beatrix for him here. He's played this hero many times, and it's going to be a big part of, I would say, what gets Aurora into another game here against the Falcons.
Imagine the story. If Renegade sets up a kick for Domenkite and he lands the snipe to keep the series going.
The redemption.
The redemption for Domenkite. How many times have we talked about redemption for players, playing heroes who in the past did not work out well for them, but then in the playoffs have made some magic happen.
It takes guts. Again, these players, they always, you know.
Hang on, sorry, Flicker burned by Domenkite in the bottom lane because he saw Kyle TZ, or at least he felt Kyle TZ's presence there. But with that information, Aurora gets this turtle.
Okay, now Aurora. Clean turtle take there as Team Falcons struggle to find the trade, and now they continue their aggression down to the orange buff. Not going to steal it away, but enough pressure is applied for Team Falcons to be out of their normal rotation.
Yeah, and this is a lineup from Falcons that really needed those level 4s anyway to go ahead and actually make something happen. Especially with Ogun playing the roam Badang here. He needs that level 4, needs to be able to go ahead and utilize the Flicker for those setups too, and even with the Jushin. So, you know, they slow things down a little bit. Now that they have the ultimates available and up, oh, hold on, Few's in trouble.
Few again forced to use the Crimson Beacon because the continuous damage from Yu and the pokes for the side of Aurora. It's giving Few such a hard time in positioning, even to his own lane.
Yeah, I think Few has to accept that he's really going to be the target in Aurora's eyes now, considering that the Jushin plays such an integral utility role to the lineup that Falcons brings to the table. Similar to how a Matilda can empower a very mobile, very tanky lineup, the Jushin empowers a lineup that's kind of scrappy in terms of how they fight with the Harith and Lancelot that needs some extra bit more of control. And that's what Few brings to the table here. Good rotations by Aurora so far. Falcons are just trying to catch up to them.
Yeah, they haven't let up at all. So they're just going in full force right now, trying to get what they can, and they're allowed to, because anytime I feel like the Baksha is on the map, whether he's in the jungle, whether we've seen him in the XP lane, that's what allows the team composition to do, is just, you know, be mobile, look for picks if they can find them. But then we have to also consider the fact that it's a Kimmy in the mid lane, and we know that the setup potential is going to hurt a lot more later. And that gives space to Domenkite. Renegade being the one to go on for the pickoffs too is great, but overall, your front-to-back coverage with Aurora's lineup is so good. So, as you know, much I want to see Falcons possibly end up in a sweep here, I think it's going to be difficult to get this one under their belt.
Yeah, incredibly difficult. Again, Aurora have drafted terrifically here. They're playing to the strengths of their lineup so well. Now, Kyle TZ is just stuck to, similar to his Suyo game yesterday, just opening up the map. And the Aurora are getting the objectives left and right, while Kyle TZ will try to balance it out with split push, while the rest of Falcons will just look into supplementing Super Marco's farm.
Yeah. Oh, and now they want to extend the lead by trying to go for the bottom lane turret. Renegade got stopped in his tracks by a beautiful initiation there from Owen. First man down is the Hitman, as Flap TZ working on Demon Kite, but he's quite tanky as Yu is serving up the damage. Owen again with a beautiful wall, and they might be able to bring on Demon Kite for the clap back from Aurora. Yue again brings down 3 alongside Domenkite, and Few is the next to fall.
It has gone also terribly really wrong for the Falcons. Yue and Dominkai just providing enough space. Demon Kite miraculously holding on long enough so that the Kimmy and the Beatrix can finish off the ever so greedy Falcons. Renegade with a kick.
A bit of an off-angle kick there, but they might be able to do the job. Thorn Rose is there, plus the puncture to be able to walk away. And the Shockwave Blast from Edward won't do the job to bring down Kyle TZ.
A good attempt there from Renegade. You know, he was trying to get the angle differently there, but they went in anyway, expended a lot, but that is a Lancelot for you. Especially with multiple enemies around you, you can actually withstand quite a bit of punishment. So Kyle TZ won't go down, but still, Falcons falling behind. It was a great combination what we saw earlier in the bottom lane, and Aurora will continue to do that. We'll see how they play this apart in the jungle here.
Good pass. The traction pulse there is Demon Kite being worked on by Mpl-Ph again with the grab, but he's quite tanky. They're trying to delay the farming pattern again of Kyle TZ. Renegade with a Jit Kundo, but 5 members of Team Falcons are there to assist Kyle TZ.
Everything that's happening in the map, Falcons are forced to react, similar to what happened in the tail end of game number 1 in the mid to the late game, when Falcons were just catching Aurora off guard and dictating the tempo, not allowing them to set up. In the early minutes of this game number 3, crucial game number 3, Aurora are the ones setting the tempo, not allowing Falcons to set up. It's been all reactive and all defensive for Falcons so far.
See what they want to do this time around. They're going to get in a position for this. They want to fight it out.
Oh, and Dominkite is the one to get the turtle. Now Aurora wants to extend their lead by going for more. There's the Shockwave Blast, but they're disciplined enough to disengage. And if you're going to notice, actually, Kyle TZ is ahead when it comes to the level up against Demon Kite, because Demon Kite's not playing this Baksha as a jungler. He's sort of acting like a roam, and Edward's the one going away from the usual rotations of Aurora to split push and farm up.
Yeah, and you can see that in the gold. Edward actually has a bit more gold compared to Demon Kite. Aurora just playing this pure aggro, and they've made Edward sort of like a carry Lucas in a way.
Hey, that's what you want to do with the box shot, right? You can just change your game plan if you want, but overall, they haven't stopped. If you notice from Aurora, it just feels like when they came into this game 3, they're like, we're going to go full force. We have to take that risk and make it happen. And so far in game 3, it's gone their way, while Falcons continues to try to catch up here. But they're falling behind, you know, 3.5K behind at this point. They got no objectives at all, not even a turret just yet to move around the map with. So they're in a pretty bad position coming into that first Lord here. Coming up, Aurora with the advantage. The fact that Dominkai and Yue have not been caught, and it's really Falcons playing to the tune of wherever Renegade and Demon Kite decide to go and crash in, is a big problem for Falcons right now.
Blade Armor forced to pick up by Mpl-Ph because of the damage that's coming from Dominkite, and a resurgence for Domink. Already has a Sea Halberd and Malefic Gun.
Yeah, no wonder Fuse damage feels like, it's like, where is it? No, it's because there's 3 Radiant Armors on the side of Aurora. Yeah. On the Baksha, on the Lucas, on the Cho. Yeah. It's going to take some time until Aurora are going to start feeling pain from any of the magic damage dealers of Falcons, and at this point, Dreadnought Armors are enough to nerf the damage of the Lancelot. Oh, Gwen gets caught and blasted! Conceal Aurora keeps going forward, but they're not going to force the issue here as they know they have advantage on Lord.
Yeah, that's how much damage Aurora has. You didn't even have to finish the animation of the Way of the Dragon for them to burst down Ogwin. And now 1 member down for Team Falcons as Aurora sets their eyes on this Lord.
Very strong take right now. Falcons, even with Kyle TZ around here, this is going to be so risky if they even try to contest it, or he tries to, you know, do some fancy moves, which we've seen before with the Lancelot players around the world. But Renegade still holding on to the Way of the Dragon, and even with all that, Aurora won't just take this Lord. They're still going to go ahead and wait for these buffs to come up for Demon Kite, and then go when they have the full advantage that they're looking for. Yeah.
Kyle TZ, though, still ahead by 1 level, so Aurora's not going to rush in taking down the Lord. Ideally, they'd have to pick off 1, or for Falcons to just trade instead for going for a clean Lord take. And now Renegade from the back sets his eyes onto Mpl-Ph. There's the ultimate from Dominkite plus traction pulls a lot of damage from the Northern Lights to burst down Ogwin once again. Mpl-Ph forced to use that grab onto Yue, but he might be next on the chopping block. Feeds the kill off to Dominkite.
Aurora have awoken. It looked like Ogwin was going to get a massive set there, but he got blasted instead the moment he decided to help out Mpl-Ph. And Falcons can only stand and watch. Try as they will, this might be risky.
Super Micro jumps in, but gets caught out by the bullets of Dominkite. The next target is Bill! And an unstoppable kill from Yue. A 3-kill swing again for Aurora.
Where is this damage coming from, and how do you deal with it if you're Falcons?
Kyle TZ jumps in with a puncture. Phantom Execution is going to connect. Edward was able to flicker out. Still no casualties for Aurora.
Mr. Consistent escapes, but here
But
goes
the
Kyle
Lord-
TZ and Ogwin again!
Owen with a knock-up to bring down Doming and Yue. You asked where the damage is coming from. Now they are gone as Kyle TZ secures the Lord.
And all that, and Falcons will get the Lord.
Kyle reminding the world what it means to bear the name of TZ, what it means to bear the hero that inspired a generation of junglers from M2.
Oh my goodness, and all that? They just got rid of the gold lead that Aurora's been holding on to all game long.
At that point, that was just sheer freaking will by Falcons, because Aurora did everything right, did everything good. But it took a TZ with a Lancelot and Ogwin with his fists to turn the game around.
I thought you were going to say, and a dream.
And a dream.
That's basically what it was given the situation that Falcons found themselves in. So they'll play around this. They've got an advantage now, mid lane.
Traction Pulse already casted down, but this time Few was able to escape. Renegade with a good kick onto Flap TZ. Owen counters out with his combo though. Renegade quite low. One more hit and Super Marco delivers the final blow to bring down the Hitman. One member down. There was an almost. Few almost got knocked down by Yue.
Super Marco blocked it for Few. If that landed into Few, he'd be dead. He still took damage, but not the full brunt of it.
That's a definite moment there. Super Marco protecting Few. They're going to get this tier 1 turret, possibly another one. Renegade still a couple seconds away coming up. They're going to force it with the Zaman force down under the turret. We'll see if they still get it. Half health on that tier 2 turret. So Aurora, given how they were in the lead majority of the game, they're still able to go in and hold on. But let's look how the items have evened out a little bit here for Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons have the lead now. Already the core items for the Harith locked in. And now Aurora are feeling the damage. It's so neck and neck. Aurora are still very close, yes. They can still turn this around with better execution. But this was not the situation they wanted to find themselves when Ogwin saving it and setting it up for Kyle TZ to finish.
2.6k gold lead now from Team Falcons after conquering a huge deficit. And now they want to extend the lead by trying to get a hold of the purple buff here. But still, Aurora, they have all their inhibitor turrets intact. They still have a second-tier turret in the middle lane. So in terms of contesting for this Lord, they can apply again their signature Lord dance that they can do against Team Falcons.
That's what I was saying yesterday, man. You know, Falcons, they're known for their prowess around objective takes, the decision-making that comes before they even decide to start up a Lord. And that's something that Aurora really has to be careful of. The majority of this game, they have been the aggressor. They have been on the offensive. And if they continue to do that, it could work in their favor. But we also know, as great as Cho is as a hero, it could also be one of those moments where you don't get the kick and the angle that you're looking for, even by burning the flicker, and then you're just left there. So this is where it gets really crucial for especially Renegade on how they decide to approach this. It might not even be the answer of, oh, just send Renegade. Maybe they have to go with something a little more creative.
Yeah, actually, the good thing about the Aurora lineup is, and let's give a little bit more hope also as well to the Northern Lights watching, is that even if Renegade doesn't get the kick to set things up, Aurora's lineup has so many fail-safes, mainly two, the Baxia and the Lucas, that if a kick misses or it doesn't land exactly the right way, you have Edward and Demon Kite to help cover so that Demon Kite and Yue can deal the damage. It's still quite a hairy situation for the Falcons here if they're not careful.
Yeah. Okay. Not to mention the traction pulse that can come from the Kimmy, just like right now. We're not going to connect on to Few. Still, Falcons 3k gold lead. They're holding on to their mid lane turret. At any given moment, Ogwin again can find the proper angle to be the ending set for Team Falcons.
Okay, Lord is the take here. Kyle TZ not even around, just going to go ahead and deal with this wave up top while the team just stares down each other, fighting for this. Wicked Seal's going to be used. Does Renegade go?
Renegade with a flicker kick in, but Ogwin again with a beautiful counter. On the other hand, Edward on the back with the Unleash the Beast trying to work on Super Marco. Super Marco just dancing around with his Diamond Force. Ogwin still alive alongside Super Marco, and he takes down Edward, but here comes Yue. Kyle TZ as well in the picture. Ogwin now gone, but Flap TZ trying to work on Yue. Tommy Kite breaks down Few. Next target is Flap TZ, but Kyle TZ answers back.
Marco versus Doming and Demon Kite.
Rose and the opportunity for Marco to deliver the final Senko Vision to the heart of Dominkite.
That was timed so well between the two of them.
If you follow the DNA of the squad and the team that came before them, it was the heroics of a Lancelot and a Harith in another country not so far away that took a squad named Brand Esports to the promised land, and it keeps Falcons' hopes alive. Again, we saw it. Aurora, they have so many fail-safes. Demon Kite and Edward did their absolute job of forcing Super Marco in the backline of Falcons to nearly crumble, but they held on. Aurora did everything right as much as they could, but Falcons just got the counter.
Oakland again zoning out Demon Kite. Who's gonna get it? Still gonna fall in the hands of Kyle Ceesay as he bounces out, and Super Marco, but is Salmon Moore's gonna bring down Edward. Next target is Demon Kite. A double for Super Marco!
And more do they get for the Falcons. The whole time Kyle Ceesay knew, guys, you can handle it. I'll get my buff. We got the Lord. Let's go ahead and get ready to march towards the base of Aurora.
The lights are slowly flickering out, shadowed by the wings of the Falcons in the air. But as long as there is light, there is hope. But where will hope come from? From Aurora. Can they hold on?
3 left to defend for the Northern Lights. Traction Pulse is there. Marco jumps in.
Falcons!
Oakland